Hi, welcome back. My name is Jason Dunbar. I've been a yacht broker with Luke Brown Yachts for over 30 years, and I am a partner in a company called Vessel Value Surveys. I'm here today at Bradford Marine, which has been a anchor company for the marine industry in South Florida, and I am here today with Luis Lopez. How you doing, Luis?
Very good. How are you?
I'm well. Luis has been with Wards for over 27 years. He's got education in computer, electronics, and electrical engineering. And today, he's going to discuss with us some of the exciting and new worlds of electricity. We have things like AC converters getting smaller. We have wind generators, solar panels, batteries, lithium ion, all kinds of things. It's a crazy world of what's going on in electronics. What's that mean to you?
Well, it doesn't matter where the technology goes. Electricity is the basic. It's without electricity, you can't do none of these things.
It keeps the air conditioning cold, it keeps the food cold, it keeps the lights on for the entertainment, enjoyment of the owners of the boat. And as we all know, they're what runs this industry.
That is correct.
A question for you. When you say things are basic with electricity, all of these new innovative materials that are coming out to generate electricity, what does that mean to you that it's just basic?
Well, you have shore power, which is a basic on a boat that provides electricity to the boat. You have generators, mechanical generators with electrical alternators. You have battery power sources. You have battery chargers, and on and on and on. You know, there's a lot of equipment on the boat that produce or receive electricity.
So, Wards Electric, do you guys work with AC and DC?
Yes, we work with both AC and DC.
Okay, fantastic. And one of the things I did learn about when we were talking earlier, I had no idea that Wards does corrosion surveys. Could you just touch on that briefly, what exactly a corrosion survey is and what the benefit could be for a broker?
Well, a corrosion survey, it's a study basically that we do to the boat to make sure that the boat is safe and it's properly electrical engineered as far as ground, and it has properly grounding system on it. That can be it could be a safety hazard if it's not properly done, or it can damage a lot of equipment on a boat, since a boat has a lot of metals that is sitting on salt water.
So when that metal is underwater and you have electricity running through it, that can be bad?
That can cause a lot of damage to the equipment on the boat, and if you have some sort of leakage or short or straight current, it can be dangerous for humans.
Yeah, okay, so when we pull the boat out during the haul out and we see that there's no zincs on the boat and maybe a propeller is about to be cut in half because it's got a crack in it, that would be from?
That you definitely need a corrosion survey, and that can be from it can be many things. It could be a straight current, it could be galvanic current.
Right.
You know, the anodes are sacrificial anodes, so they're going to go first, and then it's going to attack the harder metal. So that's the importance of having a corrosion survey done to study the boat and basically troubleshoot what's going on with the boat.
Are you guys able to advise a boat owner or a captain whether they should use zinc or an alloy anode?
Well, that depends on the boat, how the boat has been built and designed. There's a huge variety of circumstances where you can use either or.
Okay.
If the boat is going to be in salt water, brackish water, fresh water, so that can be determined by a corrosion survey.
So when you've been able to assess all the variables, you could then advise what would be in the best interest of the boat, a zinc or alloy anode.
That is correct.
So, okay, that's great, because there is some debate whether one or the other is better, but it really depends on the boat.
Depends on the boat and the surroundings of the boat.
Okay.
The water.
Fantastic. And the other subject that we did touch on briefly, and I do think it does merit a bit of conversation, and I really do appreciate the way you described to me. I'd asked you earlier, what can you do to protect a boat from lightning strikes, and the analogy of being able to protect from a hurricane is about the same usefulness. But I do understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had mentioned that if it is done properly, you can at least mitigate the damage potentially.
That is correct. Fighting with God's forces, it's
A
impossible.
losing battle.
Correct. So, but if you have a proper lightning protection, it can minimize the damage that can be done to a boat if it got hit directly by lightning.
And part of that, not only putting in the lightning protection, but you also mentioned servicing the
lightning protection is a system that is installed on in the boat that needs to be serviced.
Right.
And we have to make sure that it has the proper cables, the proper it's engineered properly, and the connections, they need to be clean without corrosion. A lot of the time these cables, they go down to the underwater dyno plate or grounding plate, and a lot of the time they sit on water and they can get corroded. So that's something that we have to look at it very methodical and make sure that it's clean and it does proper connection to it.
I get that, and so by just putting it on there doesn't mean that you've mitigated it. You have to also maintain it.
You have to maintain it.
And I only bring this up because the robust debate between some skippers now is, does the addition of a lightning arrestor make my boat more susceptible to being hit by lightning, or as opposed to one that doesn't have it? And I really do gain the sense that that's not the point of the lightning arrestor. If it is maintained and it is done properly, then if it is hit, which you can never predict, it does have the high probability of mitigating the amount of damage that was
Correct.
done.
It will minimize the damage to the boat.
As it was designed
and all
to
the
do.
equipment on board, and even personnel.
Right. Okay, so when I am showing a boat, I go to the boat and, for example, if I have John and Jane McGillicuddy and we are going to go look at a boat, we would probably walk through the backyard of the boat, or the backyard to the house, where we would see this magnificent yacht sitting behind someone's house. What do I do? What would your advice be for me to protect their interest and keep an eye? Is this boat a good boat? Or if I'm getting a listing, even say, the life of a yacht broker can be to protect the interests of the client or advise the client at what he can do to speed the sale up. And in many cases, it could be reducing electrical risk. So as I approach the boat, I'm walking in and we're staring at the boat, what are some of the first things I should be looking for?
Well, we have an example here.
One does not look like the other.
Correct, but something as simple as touching, feeling the cable to see if it's warm. If it's like warm more than normal, something is going on in there. There's a lot of resistance on that cable, and the way that the plug is, it's connected to it. That's a big red flag right there. Opposed to, you know, a plug properly done and that it matches properly the voltage pin configuration that you have on the pedestal.
Yeah, I gotta say, I in the amount of years Ward's Electric has been involved in this, I think you guys, if I'm not mistaken, may have had something to do with even the design of this back in the day, years and years ago. I could be wrong, but this is really the right way to do this.
That is correct. Yeah, we build it. We even build it for a high-end, like a big company that distributes, sells these plugs.
Okay, so you discouraged me from getting my red electrical tape and fixing my 100 amp three-phase, you know, on my own. So now,
Right.
we take the couple, and as we walk into the boat, I would come on board the boat, and now we're doing a walk around the exterior of the boat. What are some of the things I should be looking for as I walk around the boat?
Well, once you saw the pedestal, now the next step is going to be the whole inlet, because that cable is going to be connected to the boat. So you just want to make sure that the inlet is properly installed, it's fixed, it's not missing parts on it, and
if it's loose on the exterior of the boat, then what's behind it could be problematic for the boat also.
That is correct.
Okay.
So those are like simple things that you can see. You don't have to be an electrician or an expert on all of this to just to see a red flag.
And I also, I like the concept of feeling for heat, because heat is bad. You don't want to be chasing heat down. I know mechanically when we do engine surveys, that's what we're always looking for. We're chasing down heat. Electrically, you would be doing something similar, trying to reduce the amount of heat.
That is correct. You can put your hands around panels, around the switchboard, the breaker panel, around electrical components, and if it's abnormal hot, then
it's a red flag.
It's a red flag.
That we've got resistance and there's a problem there.
Yep.
Okay, so we're now on the aft deck, and I look for the key, which is located in all those broker spots that we all know. And when I find the key, I open the back door, we go into the main salon, I flick the lights on. I got a couple that are flickering. I don't know if they're halogen or LED, but they all eventually come on. And as we're in the main salon, what's the next area that electrically that I should be looking for?
Well, the switch box, just make sure that the switch is not loose.
Right.
And if it is, what is the condition? If they do have an enclosure in the back, we go back to heat, fill the lamp if you can to see how hot it is and if there's any evidence of overheating somewhere.
Okay. So now I go into the wheelhouse and I see that there is a panel. How would I know the difference between the AC or the DC panel? Do they ever combine them, or are they always separate?
No, they have to be. If the boat it's built to the minimum standard, which is ABYC, they need to be separate.
Right.
The DC panel have to be completely on a separate enclosure than the AC panel, and they have to be properly labeled.
Okay, properly labeled. Now,
correct.
When I open up that panel, is there anything I should look for that could be a red flag?
If you open the panel and all the components behind the panel and terminal blocks and wires are bolted to a wood frame, that's a problem there.
That's a problem.
Yep.
Now, I've seen that. I have personally seen the back side of an electrical panel, and there is timber back there. What is the proper material that should be used?
The proper material has got to be something that is not flammable.
Okay.
And my favorite one will be aluminum or some sort of metal.
Okay. Starboard work?
No, it's highly flammable.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh, this is great. That's good to know. Thank you for that. Okay, so I put the boat back together, and basically, as we go through the boat, I got a couple lights flickering. I find a little bit of heat. These are things that are stuff that Ward's Electric could come in and resolve these problems.
Absolutely, we can do an electrical survey, which is very important to you have like overall or general surveys, and sometimes the surveyor doesn't have enough time to go through the boat and see or note all the deficiencies that the boat has, which is whether it is mechanical, structural, electrical. But we can do a just electrical survey to find all these deficiencies on the boat.
I think that, and I don't know that I clearly don't speak for the 3,000 plus members of the IYBA, but there are realistically two different levels of electrical complexities that we deal with in the yachting industry. If you're dealing with really 30 meter and up, you have systems that can be a little more complex.
Correct.
When you are dealing with smaller boats, it's a little bit more basic. Do you guys do surveys for the masses, the boats that are 50 foot, 40 foot, or do you feel that the main surveyor, do you guys, I guess what I'm asking is, do you guys have a limit? Like you really don't want to
No, we don't. We work on any size boat, and we do surveys from a 20-footer tender to a mega yacht.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. Well, if I find myself in a situation where you guys are on the vessel and you're doing the survey, if we are in the engine room and I see a whole bunch of different batteries, and the world of batteries is something that is clearly evolving right in front of us within our lifetime. I've been with the same company 27 years, as we both described earlier.
Yep.
It's changed from when we had lead acid to then we got the glass mat. I mean, just in our working career, we've seen this evolve, and it's now really seems to be hitting strides. And there could be the potential for, well, you hear the lithium battery fire issue. Explain to me, am I creating a danger by putting lithium batteries in a boat?
There's nothing wrong with batteries, and batteries are very safe. The only thing that you have to take in consideration is you can't mix them. I mean, all the batteries should be the same size, same technology, and the same age. You don't want to put lead acid batteries with lithium ion or gel batteries with lead acid. As long as they are the same age and chemical.
I want to make sure I understand this with crystal clear. Okay, so if I have a boat and I have lithium ion batteries that are powering my house, can I have 2 lead acid batteries that start my main engines?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As long as they are on a separate bank doing something different.
Okay.
But you don't want to mix them.
Got it. So I don't want to have daisy chain or connect the different materials in batteries.
Yeah, every battery has its own specifications as far as temperature, how they need to be connected, installed, and charging.
Oh, fantastic. Charging. Can I use the same battery charger for all the different types of batteries?
If the charger allows you to have the settings program the setting for that particular batteries, yes.
Okay, fantastic. So that would be a technological advancement.
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything you can think of I should be asking as I approach a boat, or should be thinking about? Is there a question I didn't ask?
Well, it just look for common sense, see how the wiring is run on the boat. You don't want to see chafed wires anywhere. You don't want to see blue tape anywhere. Trying to hold the breaker. Look for temperature. If you can read the monitor, let's see what's going on the monitoring system of the boat. The generator, the bilge is clean. There's no corrosion. Corrosion is a big problem for electricity, because once a terminal or a connection is corroded, you're going to have a lot of problems.
You are, yes. And the problems are going to be resistance and heat?
Resistance, yes, heat.
And that's so. Even though, when we started this, we talked. I mentioned how excited I am about all of the new technologies that are coming, but realistically, it is still the exact same principles of electricity when it all started.
Like I said at the beginning, it's the basics. You need electricity, and you can change the technology, but you cannot change the electricity. You can plate, you can
get a fancy delivering device, but it's still going to be hot in the ground.
That is correct.
Well, I think that's it. That's what we've got here for you folks on the engineering seminar. Thanks a lot, Louis.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that's a wrap for today. Yacht Engineering Week 2023 has been brought to you by our title sponsor, Pantropic Power, the local cat dealer, and our anchor sponsor, Robert Allen Law, the business of yachts. We would also like to thank our segment sponsors, Lürssen, Viking Marine Exhaust, Zemos, Marine Data Solutions, MPI, Bradford Marine, Ditech, Lewis Marine Supply, MPT, Tropic Ocean Airways, Ward's Marine Electric, Seabob, AquaBanas. We'll see you again tomorrow, 9:30 sharp.